What's up, YouTube? What's up, all my viewers? You know what I'm saying? Galactic Council, my ancestral spirit, most divine, the most high. Posting this April 5th. Just touching bases. Like I said, I was gonna do starting this new channel or whatever. First of all, I want to give credit and give some thanks to God upstairs above, but I want to give thanks to the supporters who hit my page up and people who are giving me accolades or pats on the back, praise, however you want to say it, whatever about the situations I've been through, whatever in the past, some of the wrongdoings that came against me or whatnot. So that's what I'm here to speak on today, and kind of give some enlightenment on my journey, my ups and my downs, which came about from the situations that I've been through, the trials and tribulations that I've gone through. And if you got any questions or whatever, you can hit me up personally on my page, and we can, and I address them or whatnot. Excuse me. You can hit me up on my Facebook as well, Stephen Young. You can hit me up on Facebook, inbox me, or you can hit me up on her, or you can hit me up on my Gmail, syoung.og5 at Gmail. That's syoung.og5 at gmail.com. Okay, one of the major questions that somebody had, what a lot of people have, figuratively, or asking is, people want to know, how am I still alive? People want to know, how did I stay positive through going through everything that I've been through, and people want to know how I got through all the trauma that I've been through with all the magic and the voodoo and all the people coming against me. Okay. To the first question, people want to know how I'm still alive. Okay. To that, it's really not a simple answer to anything, but the reason why is because I put my first of all, when everything happened and came about, everybody isolated and turned their backs on me and put me in total isolation and judgment. So once I recognized this, mind you, it's been a pattern ongoing through my life since a kid. So once I recognized it and I owned it, that was the first thing. I owned it for what it was. Okay, this is what it is. It's an isolation attack. It's a spiritual attack. So, okay, I do what I normally do in them type of situations. I went and I isolated myself, and I went and sit down with myself, and I went within myself. Because that's the first thing I do. When there's a problem occur like this, a major problem major problems come about, the first thing I always do is I go sit down and look at the man in the mirror. I go check and reflect myself. I go check and reflect myself, reflect on my actions in the past, I reflect and I trace back my steps and the actions and reactions and all this, because accountability is everything. So I go and look at myself. Where could I have been the problem? Did I cause this and then I go down and I do a check and balance, so to speak. Pros and cons. I go in and that's what I did. And I looked and tried to look at myself and see what was this and what was that, and is it a possibility of this? Why is that? And and I took it to God. And so I looked at myself. I went and took it to God, and I asked Him, God, guide me and show me the path and the steps that I need to walk. Give me enlightenment on the situation or whatnot. Their hints were subtle, because it's what I know now. It was a test. It was a test for me to go within myself, to find myself, to find my purpose, to find what was I doing wrong. And I know that because that's what I normally do. But that's what I did. I went within and I looked at my flaws and looked at how could I be the root of the problem or the cause of the problem. That's what I did. And by me doing this, I start to know my shortcomings. I start to see my traits, my bad traits, my goods, my bads, my stagnation, my procrastination, my motivation, my initiation, my innovation, my elevation, my all that. From A to Z, I checked it multiple times because, mind you, this is like a 5 year, at least 5 to 7 years struggle. But the last 5 years totally of pure isolation, where the community turns on me, no friends, no fam, nothing, just me, okay, just me. I'm totally homeless, and it had took all my money, turned everything against me, slandered on my name, just you name it, lied, gang stalking me, following me everywhere. I mean, just name it. Nobody was my friend. Nobody trusted me behind all the lies and all the shit they made up on me. You know what I'm saying? God forgive me. All the stuff they said about me and slandered me and, built this propaganda up against me, this smear campaign. So I went within, all right? And how I remain positive about the situation is because one thing I'll find out, and I'm definitely not perfect, but one thing I have realized since a kid is when you don't have anywhere to lean, to take in, we don't have anywhere anything to lean on, anything to believe in, anybody to talk to, anybody to relate to, anybody to love you, you can always lean on the Most High. You can always lean on God. And in return, God will show you how you can lean on yourself. So I lean on myself to go within myself because I know when I did that, myself was going to go right back to the Creator, the Father. And that's initially who I'm leaning on. Okay, I leaned all on Him and I gave it all to Him. I want to sit it down at His feet, like God, here, Father. Show me. I've been wrong. I've been persecuted wrongly. I'm being isolated. I'm being demonstrated against. I'm being persecuted. I'm being crucified like Jesus. And he said, yeah, he told me, and he said, yeah, that's exactly what it is. I told him, they doing voodoo, they doing this, they gang it. He said, okay, be still, my child. Be still. Find your inner peace and be still. Seek me. The kingdom of heaven. Okay, I said, okay, God, you right, Father. And I kept bumping my head a little bit, not because it was hurting. It was turning me up. Thousands of people. Seemed like hundreds of thousands of people, really. No exaggeration, just seriously. And he said, okay, I'm gonna do what I said do, and when you do that, I'm gonna show you something. And it took courage. It took courage and inner strength and a certain type of inner peace for me to be able to zip my lip, to smother my actions, to purify my thoughts, to cleanse my soul and my heart from all the hatred and pain and the revenge that I want to commit against these people. And he said, no, right. And I said, you're right, Father. You're right. I know you're right because the proof is in the pudding. You know, we got a long track history, yes. And I said, you know what? This time I'm going to totally do something totally different than which I have not done. I'm going to totally surrender to you because this is something new in my life. And I want to find out totally in what it is and which ways it's coming so I can know how to defend against it because I didn't like it. I didn't like the forces. I didn't like the movement. I didn't like the ganging up. I didn't like none of that. And I hate losing. That's the main thing. I hate losing. I love winning. I'm a winner. And I'm a fighter and a warrior. So with all that being said, in order for me to win, in order for me not to lose, I submitted to God. Plus my unwavering faith that I have in him. So I said, okay, I'm going to do it your way. I totally gave it to him. You know, it didn't take effect. It took months. It took time. But slowly but surely, I persevered past and surmised all the stuff that they had going on with the way they was attacking me. And it was hard. You know, I'm walking, like I said, I got thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people gang stalking me, sending voodoo, hacking, stealing all my money, burning my house down, stealing all my clothes, send me to prison, you know. Did 3 years in prison. Just got out December the 2nd, 2024. Left in 2022. You know, got out of prison. Didn't have nothing. Right back. Been on the streets. Had to sleep outside in the snow during the Christmas and the snowstorm, you know. Meanwhile, I'm watching all the people who would wrong me. Blackmail me. Blacklisted me. Blackball me. Badmouth me. Backstab me. I see them so-called living life and being somewhat prosperous off my gifts, off the things that they inherited and stole off of me, directly from me, directly from me. It's not just a handful of people. It's maybe a handful of people came up with this idea, but this whole community stole from me. This whole community stole from me by way of condemning me for crimes in which I did not commit. This whole community turned their back on me and looked the other way when people wrongdid me and lied on me and persecuted me and sought after me for evil. I mean, from the store clerks to the mailman to the, you name it, to the trash company. Everybody discriminated on me. Everybody treated me like shit. Everybody plotted against me and came against me. They wanted me dead. They tried to kill me. I stayed positive because I knew the promise of God, what God told me. He told me. And he promised me. And I know his promises always come true. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to find my peace. I'm going to sit in peace and solitude. And I'm going to be still. And I focus my mind on the kingdom of heaven. And the powers and the principalities of which I know that I'm tapped into. That's something they couldn't take. Everything they took. Everything. My love life, my social life, my sex life, my financial life. Every freaking thing of this world they took. Except my faith. That's something that's unwavering. That's something that they cannot ever take. That's something that they constantly try to, they will never change this. And that's the most vital tool anyway. That's what people are starting to realize. But they couldn't touch that. All they did was strengthen it. Okay? I put my faith and my trust in him and I sit and I went through it. I got kicked in my ass. I got kicked down. I got spit on. I got chewed up. I got grinding in the ground. I sent to prison sitting that month. I did it all. But I kept it with him. I kept it in favor with him. And how I got through the trauma of all this, like I said, is because, like I said, I leaned in him, the Most High, my Father. 100%. I gave it to him to fight my battles and all this. And, you know, he was laying messages. But really he wanted to see how I was going to move, how I was going to walk. Because I've been building up for this. I've been born for this. So he wanted to see what I was going to do. What have I learned. Because he know I got the power. He know I got the common sense. He know I got the knowledge. So, I start to speak on my truths. This is after I got out of prison, 3 years in prison. When I got out and I still seen it was all doing it, people were still doing the same. Nobody wanted to help me. Motherfucker, I wore the same outfit for a month and a half after I got out of prison. They didn't help me get an ID. They didn't help me get no food stamps. They didn't help me get a place to stay. They didn't help me do shit. The clothes I had on came from me getting them in while I was in prison. Through this program I went through, taking classes. A month and a half, almost 2 months, same outfit. Nobody didn't give me an extra pair of pants, a t-shirt, a toothbrush, a pat on the back, nothing. Absolutely nothing did they give me. Nothing. Not even a drink of water. Absolutely nothing. But I dealt with the trauma because I start to speak my truths. I start to stand up for myself. Because now I can rationalize, and I was patient enough. I was more driven, orientated. I was more keen and more honed in on the message that I was trying to portray. I had my emotions in check. I had my emotions in check, and it was aligned and according to God and to my divine purpose and my divine calling. So when I spoke, or when I chose to speak, I spoke truths. I spoke messages. I prophesied it, things that was and I foretold things that was going to come, things that are happening right now. They thought I was lying, but I didn't really care. I did it because it gave me peace. It gave me strength. It had me. I built a whole foundation. And once I noticed, I started to notice, damn, I'm standing on something now. All I had was a little patch of grass to stand. While everybody else was still in their houses, all I had was a patch of grass. And from that patch of grass, in which God said, "You're safe right here, my son." From that patch of grass, I built a foundation, a total universe to stand on and to fight against these evils and principalities, man. That's really how I got through the drama. I mean, this story can go on and on, but that's basically, I'm giving y'all what it is in a nutshell. Like I said, and I went within, and I stayed within, and I'm still within. I'm still isolated to this day. I'm still stalked to this day. I'm still sought after to this day. My name still gets slandered to this day. It's starting to change. It's nothing like it used to be. But it's nothing like it was either. But that's cool. Because I'm nothing like I never was. And I'll never go back to the old me. So I expect things not to never go back to the old way it was either. I'm glad. That's how I survived. That's how I survived the trauma. And that's how I'm surviving it. And that's how I'm going to survive it. Because I stepped into my purpose and my calling. And I got more educated and aware and awakened to the things that are going on in this universe, which I have never been a dummy. I'm not a stupid idiot. I'm not a coward. None of that. And to the things that led to this, like I said, my ex, my friends, my peers, the world. Okay, it's like this. I guess you could so-called say that I'm a people pleaser, in a sense. But really, I'm a myself pleaser because I please people because he pleased me. Okay, I please others because it pleased me and it pleased God, which in return pleased me again. So I was getting a double positive from something that ended up really being negative. Okay, skip past that, right? To answer some people's question, first of all, when I love somebody, I love things unconditionally. A lot of people right now, they don't love nothing. You know, and the ones that do say they love stuff, it's conditional. Nobody loves unconditional like Jesus. That's why Jesus was the only one. That's why he was destined for his calling in the time in the biblical days in his time. Nobody knew what unconditional love was. Not even God walked with that. And Jesus is the only one that gave God a different perspective about life, which gave us leniency on our own ass. That's why you got to go through the Son to get to the Father. Because he the only one was worthy. He the only one used unconditional love. Okay? God is just. Jesus is unconditional love. God is an unjust God. Everything going to be judged accordingly. And because of. Alright? Straight down the list. But Jesus, on the top of his list is unconditional love. He going to judge you with unconditional love. God is going to judge you with justice. Jesus, unconditional love first. Okay? But I love unconditionally. Even my enemies. Each and everybody of this world, I love unconditionally. And I'm bringing it up because a lot of people say, well, wait, this and that is, don't go back to your ex. Let me address. I want to address this because it bothers me a lot. First of all, let me speak on this and say, anybody that I'm in a relationship with, or anybody that I love, if I had love for you one day, 1 week, or 1 year, I still got love for you. Because I love everybody in this world. Ain't nothing you gonna ever do, ain't nothing that nobody can ever say that's gonna make me stop loving anybody. Let me say that again. Nobody can make me stop loving somebody else. That person can't make me stop loving them either. Okay? That's how I'm built. That's why I'm different. That's why I'm anointed by God the way I am. Because I got unconditional love like Jesus. Okay? Yeah, it can be seen as stupid. Yeah, okay, yeah. I understand. I get that. I'm going to break it down to you, though. And I'm going to show y'all shortcomings. A lot of people don't understand their shortcomings. People that say they religious and biblical and they chosen at the same time. Y'all have a lack of discernment for the power and the possibilities of love. Y'all put money above everything. Y'all got it bad too. A lot of people been preaching at me. I listen. I ain't been saying nothing. I just been soaking it in, looking. But at the same time, the reason why you ain't called to walk in my steps and ain't been in the shoes of where I'm at, because you couldn't fathom it. You don't have unconditional love. You don't. Y'all don't even got unconditional love. Same thing. I'm trying to show y'all that people have unconditional judgment against people. That's what they do. Everybody is got conditional love. You can't even find it in a dictionary. But anyway, like I said, unconditional love. And like I said, we got me and my ex. Let me just break it down. First of all, we 10 years together is how long we've been together. And she ain't just my fucking girlfriend or a piece of, you know what, a hit and run, hit and quit it. This was my fiance, my wife, 10 years, 4 kids between each other. So it's something that you just can't cut and sever ties. It's something that you just can't do. It's something that I won't never do. I don't care what she did. That's something. This is my inner peace. Because when I go and get judged, you're gonna look at my resume and say I still use unconditional love, regardless of what the next person does. It has nothing to do with me. They can be a cheater, dog, whatever they want to do. I'm gonna still do according to what I supposed to did, and I'm still gonna love them unconditionally, regardless. Okay. Even after all the shit that she's done against me, I still love her. I'm gonna always love her. What the hell love got to do with me being in a relationship with her is totally two different things. And if you the type of person you feel like you gotta cut somebody out, burn them, grind them up in the grinder, send them into outer space, just for you not to love them, just for you not to interact and get back into another toxic relationship, another toxic environment with them, then that shows how weak you are. And that's the problem. If I gotta kick another motherfucker excuse me, if I gotta kick a person I'm trying to isolate myself from to a different realm of life, a different universe for me not to want to be involved with them, then I'm weak. She can coexist all she want. Has nothing to do with me. I know what I went through, and I know what I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna go back to that relationship. So I don't. All that. That's. I hate when people keep saying that. It's gonna stay on my mind. I'm gonna still remember. Because for one thing, we have kids. All right, and it's been 10 years of ups and downs, which is a stepping stone. I'm not gonna never forget where that stone is at because it's a stone that I stepped from. So people are contradiction. They don't really understand. They don't choose. They everybody want to be and don't have a clue about really what the hell I've been through at all. Not at all. The story has yet to be totally unfolded. Okay, and then to the other thing, when I sit back and watch everything, people. First of all, I'm not afraid of nothing. I don't have no fear against no man. Only thing I fear is God. I don't fear death. I don't fear none of this. Only thing I fear is God and His wrath and letting Him down. So when other people try to tell me to move and jump and fly, I don't do it. I do not do it. And sometimes you gonna sound a little crazy. Sometimes I don't do it when God tell me to do it because I know He telling me to do it just to test me to see if I'm gullible. I know what He has on my. We done went down and then had the assignment wrote down. This is my assignment. So when the wind blow, that does not deter me from the path and the goal that I already done set and we already got it contract out about. That's why I'm elevated up here because He know I'm not easily persuaded by what people say. The more somebody tell me to do something, that's a discernment for me to know, hey, don't do it like that. Everybody got to sprinkle their own little. They wanted to do it their way. They want me to move when they want to do. You got to call and help everybody. Idiot. You know what? Where was every? I ain't gonna. I'm gonna always do what God tell me to do. I'm always here to help anybody, especially my enemies. Especially my enemies, because that's blessings on blessings on blessings. Let that understand that. I'm gonna always do that. I help my enemies and strangers before I help people that so called I know. You hear me? First. But just know this. That's another contradiction. You're walking in your power. You don't have to do this. No. Okay, with that same thing being said, I know what my purpose is to help and save people. But first I gotta help and save myself in my area around me, because that's foundation going out. All right. People are so selfish. They know that everybody wants me to dangle myself on that and get out of this trap that I've just been entangled in all these years and this right over here to get and come right to their aid and help them. You got to call and you mean okay, yeah, I know this. I've been knowing this. Y'all just finding this out. And I'm not trying to be funny. What I'm being is truthful.